Thank you so much for the 4,000 likes on our previous Naruto Dream game concept video. If this is your first time watching one of these videos, about 15 years ago, I started to obsess over this idea for a Naruto game. It's a concept that I've seen pitched over and over by different Naruto fans, but since I've been thinking about it for this long, I've had the time to dive deep into mechanics, into monetization, and I wrote it all down in a notebook that I actually don't know where I put it after the first video. It's an MMORPG, an impossible concept, a Naruto game that will never get made because it's simply too ambitious, but the idea is too good for it not to be shared. There's a link to a playlist below if you want to watch our previous two videos, and today's topic is Tailed Beasts and Jinchuriki. And this video is brought to you by OtakuCharms.com, the online store where you can buy streetwear, accessories, figurines, and a lot more from your favorite anime franchises. So while you can't become a Jinchuriki in real life, you can rock this 6-pass Sage Mode hoodie, which is pretty much the next best thing. Shipping is completely free, so the price you see on screen is all that you pay, and if you're low on cash, the under $10 section always has some goodies that might interest you. On top of that, Otaku Charms is offering you a 10% discount if you use promo code GLOBECOO at checkout. Thank you, Otaku Charms, for still being a sponsor in 2020. Alright, let's dive into Tailed Beasts. For most of this video, we're just gonna assume there are 9 Tailed Beasts. We'll talk about the 10 tails at the end of the video, but for most of the video, we're just gonna assume 9 Tailed Beasts. That's how we thought things worked in Naruto for most of the show. And hey, if you want another video on this Naruto Dream game concept, there's still a lot to talk about. Let's aim for 4,000 likes once again. Soon as we hit 4,000 likes, I'll start making part 4, though keep in mind these videos are hard to edit. It takes a really long time, so after we hit 4,000 likes, it might be like a week before that video comes out. If you start playing this game on launch day, as soon as it comes out, which is it's never happening, it's never coming out. Launch day, you'll log in, you create your ninja, you go out into the world. There are no Tailed Beasts. None of them. They are simply not around. Tailed Beasts show up in this game through events. They randomly show up in places where you least expect them. Was there a reason why the 9 tails attacked Konoha and why the Sand had the 1 tail? Well, yes, a few reasons, but it could have just as easily been the other way around. It's not like the beasts themselves have any affinity to the village. The Shukaku could have attacked Konoha and Naruto could have ended up with sand powers. And hey, sometimes they don't attack a major village. They might just attack a smaller village, or they just wander the woods minding their own business. The beast locations aren't fixed at all, but like I said, they also won't be in the game at launch. A random Saturday, you are just playing this game and you're excited to go on this mission because you heard there was a cool jutsu scroll that you might learn something from it, when all of a sudden the 6 tails drops into the server, and now you can either continue your mission minding your own business, or you can go to the 6 tail location and try to face the beast. When asking questions like, how would Tailed Beasts work in this game? The answer usually starts very obvious. It's usually something like, well, how does it work in the show? Tailed Beasts, at least for most of Naruto, were completely wild creatures, and angry creatures on top of that, because they've been hunted their entire lives. Ninjas were constantly trying to seek their power. They were a massive tool to have on your own village for protection. So that's how it would be in the game. What's tricky sometimes is having something that's exactly like the show might conflict with some of the systems we talked about previously. Having the beast show up randomly through game events doesn't conflict with anything we talked about. It actually keeps the game alive. The world feels more dynamic with beasts being able to show up anywhere, and it gives players who log in during these events something different to do on that day. And Tailed Beasts don't always have to show up unannounced. I think sometimes it's cool to have a surprise attack, but other times the beasts might have been announced a few days in advance. Let's just say ninjas have felt some chakra fluctuations in the force, and now they know the beast will attack in a few days, you know, like a weather forecast. And that's how Tailed Beasts show up in the world. Now, what can players do when they encounter a Tailed Beast? That's where the game systems start to collide. The Tailed Beast itself should be a hard challenge, a big boss fight that requires multiple players to take down. The fight should always feel challenging. Even if you bring an entire village to fight it, the boss would scale up or down in difficulty depending on the number of players you have present. This isn't anything new. A lot of MMOs have done this in the past. It could be possible to tackle one of these alone, but as a rule of thumb, let's just say it is extremely hard, and you'll see why in a second. So how would we make this fight challenging? Well, first of all, you're fighting a big Tailed Beast. They hit hard, they have really good range, and you'll have to balance out dodging and attacking the whole time. Again, this isn't anything new. In many multiplayer games, we've seen boss attacking areas that force you to stop attacking and move out of the way of the attack before you can resume your offense. So you can't just DPS all the time. Furthermore, unlike most Naruto games right now, where you can just attack a Tailed Beast with punches and kicks, I don't think that should affect the Tailed Beast at all. This is a mythical creature that is brimming with power. What do you think would actually happen if you walked up to a Tailed Beast and punched it? It wouldn't even tickle them. So to damage the Tailed Beast, you're gonna need to throw some big attacks. You're gonna need to throw your best jutsu, and yes, taijutsu taijutsu also works, but it has to be some advanced taijutsu, not just your regular punches and kicks. And this is where the boss fight starts to collide with our established game systems. If you can only damage the boss by throwing your best jutsu at it, then what happens to your chakra? This is the same as trying to kill someone in a fighting game by only throwing supers. Yes, you deal a ton of damage, but what happens to your meter? It runs out really fast. And now that I think of it, I didn't even talk about chakra in my previous videos. Alright, let's go. This game is an RPG in the sense that you develop your character over time. You find new jutsu, you acquire new equipment, but it's not a traditional RPG where you're farming XP and leveling up. The Dream Naruto game is a game that is somewhat skill-based. If you encounter an enemy ninja out in the world, no matter how long they've been playing for, you should always have a fighting chance, provided you're good enough. If you have a leveling up system, then the higher level will always win that battle. It's not skill, it's just you grind it better. Plus, since we have permadeath as a core mechanic, dying would mean you would have to farm all that XP all over again, and that's just not fun. I really like permadeath as a core mechanic for this game, but if you add leveling up, then it breaks the whole thing. So since you don't level up, you don't really change your core stats from the get-go. I mean, there would be heavier equipment, for instance, that would increase your defense, making you tankier, equipment that would, in a way, boost certain stats, but not to the point that would make every fight easy, and your core stats are the same from the get-go. So let's say at the start you have a chakra bar that has 100 points. 100 is your max chakra. You can buff this slightly with certain pieces of equipment, but not too much. When you throw jutsu, the bar will start to deplete. Depending on the jutsu you throw, it can spend more or less bars. Some jutsu might even spend more or less chakra if you charge them up. A fireball, for instance, you can throw a small fireball really cheap, or make it huge by spending a bunch of chakra. And your chakra bar, once depleted, it's not like you lost your chakra forever. It regenerates at a generous rate when you're out of battle, but in battle it regenerates extremely slowly. So let's say you've encountered the tailed beast and now you're just throwing jutsu at it. Because that's all you have. Your punches and kicks simply don't work unless you're an advanced taijutsu user. And this means you're gonna run out of chakra pretty fast, and then you're just gonna stand there and dodge the boss while waiting for your chakra to regenerate. No, that's boring. So this is one of those places where we have to sacrifice canon for gameplay fun. So what we're gonna do is, for instance, the Ninetales. The Ninetales can summon small little chakra minions that you can actually attack with your punches and kicks. The Fourtails will bang his chest and summon a bunch of small monkeys that you can also defeat with your punches and kicks. I don't know, we'll make it up when we design the individual fights, which is never. So when you run out of chakra from damaging the boss from spamming your jutsu, your focus should be on supporting the rest of the ninja and help the fight. You can support them by defeating these small minions that the big boss is summoning, and potentially helping your fellow ninja with recovery items or something. And this is perhaps the main reason why tackling one of these tailed beasts solo is gonna be an incredible challenge. What are you gonna do when your chakra runs out? Just stare at it? The boss will still be focused on you, there's no one else around to focus on, and you're waiting for your chakra to regen. Sorry man, I think you're screwed. But you gather a group of ninja and, you know, taking this boss down is challenging, but it is very possible. So now that we know how you fight and how the beasts appear in the world, what happens when you defeat them? Or more importantly, can you even defeat them? A tailed beast was never killed in the universe of Naruto. Ninja have defeated beasts throughout the history of this universe, but they've never outright killed them. Since the tailed beast is a boss fight, they obviously have this big health bar. This health bar depletes as you throw your biggest attacks at it, but when the bar reaches 0, does the beast die? Not exactly. If you take the tailed beast down, you have successfully defeated it, but it doesn't die, it's banished, and someday it will come back. And it will be just as unpredictable as it was the first time. It will show up randomly in a different location. You might also get some rewards after defeating the beast, but I'll be honest, I haven't thought about those rewards at all. I've thought about a lot of stuff for this game, but not every little detail, so legendary weapon? I don't know, you drop something. But instead of defeating the beast, there is another option though, which is to seal the beast inside a player, thus creating a Jinchuriki. And you might be wondering, Globku, this sounds like a lot of fun. We're cooperating, taking down this big boss fight. When are you gonna throw some nightmare mechanic that we're all gonna hate? Oh, it's coming. If earlier we had the tailed beast collide with some game systems and we had to make some adjustments, right now, with the Jinchuriki and the sealing system, those game systems are just gonna come together so nicely. You see, while fighting the tailed beasts, I never said it was a cooperative effort. You can choose to cooperate because it is a hard challenge, and if you come together, it makes the challenge much easier. But the ninja right next to you that has been helping you with this fight all along, at any moment, can turn around and just shoot you from the back. But why would he do that? He's been helping me this whole time? Well, because he wants the tailed beast power for himself. Don't deny it. You also wanted it for yourself, didn't you? There is a catch though. First of all, to fully develop this idea, I think I would need to talk to a super Naruto expert, ideally the creator himself, because I need to understand sealing techniques a little bit better to implement them in this game. In the anime or manga, they have never shown a Jinchuriki being created. They have never shown a tailed beast being sealed, or they never talked about the jutsu specifically that is used to seal a beast inside a ninja. Naruto has the 8th trigram seal, but that's what was used to keep the Kyuubi inside Naruto. The transfer actually happened when Minato used the Reaper Death Seal, right? But aren't there ways to create a Jinchuriki without someone dying? The Akatsuki was able to extract tailed beasts using the 9 Phantom Dragon sealing jutsu. That requires a big statue too, but that means there are other ways to manipulate chakra and take it from people and put it in people and stuff like that. All the major villages have done it. All of them have created Jinchuriki, so there must be an easier way to do it. So I'm gonna keep the details a bit fuzzy on what jutsu you can actually use to seal the creature, but whatever it is, it's a jutsu that you must find and learn before facing the tailed beast itself. But I do like the idea of the sealing jutsu requiring multiple people to be performed. In my head, it works a little bit like this. It could change once we learn more about sealing jutsu, but right now, let's just say you need 3 people at least to perform a sealing jutsu on a tailed beast. If you have more, the chances of you sealing the beast are even bigger. It works a little bit like Pokemon. First, you have to damage the Pokemon to have a better chance of catching it and it staying on the Pokeball whenever you throw the Pokeball. So when you try to do it with a tailed beast, it's kind of the same thing. First, you have to fight it to weaken it, so you have a better chance of using the sealing jutsu and creating a Jinchuriki. And the more people you have helping out with the sealing jutsu, the better your chances are. But here's what's so interesting about this. You have a bunch of ninja fighting a single tailed beast, and when it's low health, you'll see those ninja turn on each other because they all want the tailed beast for themselves. So now, while the boss is still alive and attacking you, you're also dealing with the other ninja fighting each other. Plus, for you to get the Jinchuriki, you have to convince some of your friends to perform the sealing jutsu together with you. And they're not getting anything out of this, they're just giving you power. I know a lot of Naruto fans see themselves as heroes. If they were a part of this universe, they would become the Hokage, respected by everyone. But really, what I think is that most of you will just be the Danzo. You want to be the Hokage by taking power from others, no matter the cost. This game would reveal your true colors. Naruto fans are a bunch of selfish, power-hungry people who will stop at nothing to become the #1 ninja, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So let's say you've beaten the odds. You've successfully sealed a tailed beast inside of you, which is hard to do for all the reasons we talked about, but you've done it. You've convinced your friends to do it. Good job. What happens now? Well, now you're a Jinchuriki, and each tailed beast comes with a different set of abilities. For instance, we were talking about the chakra bar earlier, and one of the attributes that the Nine Tails has is endless chakra. Well, it's not endless, but it might as well be. Now, I'm not making your chakra bar bigger, but I'm giving you a ton of chakra regen if you've got the Kyuubi. The bar might even change colors to represent the Kyuubi chakra. Your tailed beast powers would be somewhat limited at first. There is some progression there. You slowly learn to use your tailed beast more and more as you explore what this new power is capable of, and this is done through a series of quests that you unlock once you become a Jinchuriki. So eventually you'd be able to do pretty much everything you've seen in the show as a tailed beast, but it takes some time to get there. Each tailed beast has a lot of abilities to go through, so it's better to slowly be introduced to them over time, and that way you'll also feel like your ninja is getting stronger every time you play, because you keep discovering new things to do. But also, the longer you have the tailed beast, the more famous you become in your server, because you're getting more and more powerful, and maybe someone else is after that power. Now, if you have a tailed beast inside of you, you have to be an active player. If you log out and become inactive, the tailed beast can't simply disappear from the server. So if you go away, you'll lose the tailed beast. In a similar way to the legendary weapons and the Kekkei that we talked about in the last episode. But you'll also become hunted, naturally. People want the power that's inside of you. So what happens when they catch you? Well, it's the same thing that happens when you fight a tailed beast. If they defeat you, they can kill you, which results in permadeath for your character, and the beast emerges out of your body and starts rampaging, triggering the boss fight we talked about during this whole video again. But it's also possible that your enemy won't kill you. They can choose to extract the beast from your body with a variety of sealing jutsu, just like the Akatsuki did. And at this point, you've probably guessed it, yes, the 10 tails is possible to resurrect. All you gotta do is find the statue, defeat the Jinchuriki, extract the tail beast, and the Kyuubi has to be the last one or the statue breaks. Sounds simple, right? It's incredibly hard to pull this stuff off, to the point where most publishers would say, no, you're not gonna spend a bunch of time and money developing a system that's probably never going to happen. To which I would say, 1, this game's never going to happen, so why not? And 2, when the Akatsuki did this, it was kind of insane and extremely hard to pull off. So if players want to do it, I want to give them the power to do it, even if it's insanely hard to accomplish. And that's how Tailed Beast would work in a nutshell. If you guys want a 4th video on this Naruto Dream Game concept, 4,000 likes. I have a few systems that I would still like to talk about, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. If your question is worth a full video, I'll totally take you up on that. Last time, a lot of people asked if you could take the Sharingan from other players, which is natural. I spent a lot of time talking about Kekkei Genkai, and this is something important. Players want to know if they would be able to do this. But the answer to that question is, sure, yes. Why not? So even though that was the most requested topic, it really is not enough to take up a whole video. So hey, what do you want to know? Leave a comment. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you next time. Boy.